cool. So the title of today's discussion is straight up and simple. It's literally Christ consciousness. So I'm gonna do it in a different way. I'm gonna start with a quote, and then we're going to do a book reading. Right? So quote straight into a book reading, and then we're gonna get right into the lecture. But this is gonna be a more profound lecture. It's gonna be a little deeper than usual, right? A little more mystical, which I'm sure that y'all will appreciate. All right. So the quote that we're really going to focus on today it's a quote by Hafiz. Hafiz was a Sufi mystic, put it like that. And it says, "I am a hole in a flute that the Christ breath moves through. Listen to this music." Right? We've often talked about the concept of being, right? When you think about your life, the more that you become aware, you'll notice that a lot of things that you do, you just do. You're not really the one doing it. You might be speaking, you get into flow and words come out and they feel normal, feels automatic, but who is the one doing it? You may move your body. You might be writing and drop your pen and you reach down and catch it, but who is the one that does that? Right? So a lot of these gestures, things automatically happen from a state of being. But we're going to get into this, right? Getting into the flow of life. And this goes back to the core teaching that we've been talking about, is we'll wake up to this realization of, okay, I am God. Or we'll wake up into this realization of I need to be closer to God. But the deeper revelation is that a relationship with God requires two, and there is no two. There is no me and God. There is simply God. There is simply source. There is simply the one. All right? There is simply the one. So let's talk about this quote. All right? I am a hole in a flute that the Christ breath moves through. Listen to this music. Already deeply profound, right? To live as this awareness is to surrender the illusion of being the musician, right? Surrender the illusion of being the doer and become the actual instrument or the vehicle for source, for oneness, for consciousness, for awareness to flow through. The ego seeks to play its own tune, to control, to impress, to prove, but the soul knows it was crafted to be hollow, open, and receptive. In the emptiness of surrender, divine breath finds passage. The melody that emerges is not yours, yet it flows through you with exquisite intimacy. It is the sound of the infinite expressing itself in form, the unspoken word made rhythm and tone through the quiet willingness of your being, right? This is why the more that we try to force things, whether it's force a belief, we come into this manifestation or reality creation space and we think, okay, I have to manifest this. I have to keep my mind on this. And we will start to try to force the mind, thinking that it's us forcing reality, right? Beating reality into submission, and it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good at all. It can lead to more anxiety. But then when we make this a game of remembrance, all right? I'm simply remembering myself of who I've always been. Now it becomes a game of flow and ease. You'll see that you'll start to walk through life from this knowing, and things automatically happen. If you need to go there, you automatically go there. If you need to speak like this, you automatically do it. From that state of being. Right? So we have these two distinct, ways of doing things, right? We can take the way of force, which leads to stress, anxiety, fear, right? It leads to us trying to Google and look on Reddit and look for YouTube. How do I detach? How do I deal with anxiety in my manifestation journey? Or we become the observer. We take the path of flow. We start to relax into the knowing that I've always been everything I desire to be. I simply allow life to take care of itself. Life can handle itself because life is God and God can handle itself. And God and life originates within me. So all I have to do is know who I am and everything else takes care of itself. All right? So to be the flute is to live without resistance. It is to allow the divine to sing through your joys, your heartbreaks, your daily moments of silence and noise. It is to resist nothing. It is to resist nothing. It is to allow whatever to be whatever, knowing that whatever it is unfolding perfectly to match who you are. And who you are is the perfection of God. It's about knowing yourself. It's about knowing that you are seated at the center of reality. Remember, everything is God. The mic is God. Your bank account is God. I don't care how many negative signs it's got in it. I don't care how many commas it's got in it. Right now, your bank account is God. You are God. All of it is God. The grass, the strangers, the one that broke your heart, that cheated on you, they are all perfect expressions of God. But you sit in the middle of reality, in the middle of your reality, and you are lit up with this beacon, this beam of light, which is the fullness of God. The fullness of God is within you, right? In all of your assumptions and beliefs. And so you walk into a room and all of a sudden the fullness of God then what? Flows out of you and it animates everything around you. And so you don't have to worry about that. That takes care of itself. You simply have to worry about you. How do you do that? Well, you tell me. How do you worry about you? You tell me. How can I tell you how to do that? You simply flow through life with the ease, knowing yourself as source, knowing yourself as the center of reality. Basically, it's doing the opposite of what you've been doing. Instead of worrying about everything else, trying to force everything else to look a certain way, to feel a certain way, trying to force people to say certain things to validate you. Now you validate yourself. You reclaim your throne, your seat at the center of reality, right? So you realize that perfection lies not in performance, but in openness. The Christ breath doesn't choose the flawless. It chooses the hollow, the open, those willing to be moved. When you no longer try to make music, the universe begins to hum through you effortlessly. Your life becomes the song of God remembering himself. And every listener who hears your melody recognizes the notes of their own forgotten divinity. Beautiful. Now we're going to take a change of pace, okay? Change of pace time. So I'm going to read from a book. What the book is, it's just something that I wrote. Okay, it's something that I wrote. Right? But it's about a journey back to oneness. It basically parallels some of the other stories that we'll talk. I ain't going to preface it too much. We're just going to get into it. Then we'll get into the discussion. Okay? Here we go. It's called The Silence That Speaks. The Silence That Speaks. He used to wake up with the weight on his chest. Not the weight of the world, though that's what he told himself, but the weight of himself. His own mind, his own history, his own endless effort to become something better than what he already was, right? He's in this constant state of striving, He prayed, but not out of faith. He prayed because he was scared that if he stopped striving, the world would forget him. Scared that if he didn't keep trying to manifest, meditate, or raise his vibration, he'd slip back into the dark place that used to swallow him whole. He told himself he believed he was God. He repeated it like a mantra, right? I am God, I am God. But each repetition carried the faint aftertaste of doubt, as if he were whispering a truth he hadn't yet earned, right? That key word, earned. He tried to convince himself that belief alone could lift the fog, but the fog only thickened. There were days he couldn't get out of bed. His body felt heavy, his mind louder than the outside world. He scrolled through quotes about awakening, YouTube videos about manifesting, and see people smiling in candlelight, talking about peace as if enlightenment were a mood one could buy in bulk. Which is the common issue that we go through, right? We think enlightenment is meditating in the woods in an orange robe with a bald-headed man, right? We think it means this constant state of, we think it's in the next YouTube video, the next affirmation, the next mantra, the next technique, the next practice, right? So he would say to himself, if I am God, why do I still hurt? And that question echoed in the dark like a blade scraping stone. He began to wonder if this whole unity idea was a lie, some spiritual placebo for the desperate. How could he be divine when he still flinched at his own reflection? How could he be light when his thoughts felt so unholy, judging himself, right? Already getting into the judgment of himself. He wanted to feel better, but every attempt to feel better made him feel worse, right? Resisting what is, not accepting the perfection that he already is. Trying to make himself feel better, right? About a situation he doesn't like. All in the name of trying to believe that he's God. Right? Trying to force himself into this, all right? So he wanted to feel better, but every attempt to feel better made him feel worse. Every affirmation became another way of saying, I am not there yet. One night he reached the edge. Not the kind of edge people see from afar, but the invisible one you step over quietly when you've had enough pretending. He sat in his car outside his apartment, engine off, silence loud, and he whispered, if you are real, I need you to show me. Not in words, not in signs, just show me. There was no lightning, no angelic choir, no sky splitting open, just stillness. But for the first time, he did not try to fill it. He didn't try to feel better. He didn't try to think better. He didn't try to manifest or get in alignment. He didn't reach for God. He let himself fall into God. And in that surrender, something cracked open. Not a thought, not some download, not some vision, but simply a knowing. It came softly like a memory surfacing from beneath water. You are not a man trying to reach me. You are me pretending to be a man. He froze. Tears gathered but didn't fall. The words weren't heard, they were remembered. Every struggle, every doubt, every sleepless night had been the divine wrestling with its own reflection. In the days that followed, he found himself quieter out of reverence. The noise of trying had dimmed. He began to hear the voice that doesn't use words in the hum of the refrigerator, the rhythm of rain against the window, the way strangers smiled at each other without reason. Everything pulsed with an unseen intelligence. He realized the world hadn't been cruel to him. It had been teaching him. Every heartbreak had carved a space wide enough for eternity to fit. Every failure had been God clearing the stage of ego so the true actor could enter. When he walked now, he walked slower. Each breath was worship, and each glance was communion. One morning, he looked in the mirror and didn't see a man trying to be spiritual. He saw the infinite pretending to be finite for the sheer beauty of experience. He laughed not the laugh of mockery, but the laugh of a man who's finally seen the punchline of his own suffering, right? That revelation, that moment, that aha moment. That moment when we realize no thought could get me closer or further from God because God is here. Because I am that I am. No feeling could get me closer or further from God because I simply am it. And the more that I sit here in the middle, surrounded, drowning in God, and I'm trying to feel better for God, the more I'm affirming what? That there is distance. This is why even scripture will tell you what? Be still and know. Be still and know that I'm God, right? One of the translations to that is actually cease striving and know. Cease striving. Just stop striving. Stop trying to be closer to God and just know. Just know who you are. Just know where you are, right? It's that beautiful quote by Kabir. And it says, I laugh every time I hear the fish is thirsty. Right? And it speaks to the human condition to be surrounded, to be drowning in the substance that sustains our life and still what? Reach out there for God. Still reaching for God. Okay? So he whispered, finally, right? He's coming to this realization. He whispered, I was never becoming anything. I was remembering everything. And in that instant, the boundaries collapsed. There was no me. and God. There was no me and God, only awareness, only being. The same stillness that moved the stars was the same stillness behind his eyes. He realized then that the struggle had never been against life, but against forgetting. And the victory was not in finding peace, but in realizing peace was never lost. He didn't kneel anymore, not because he lost reverence, but because he found it in every gesture. He prayed not in words, because his whole life became a prayer. When he washed dishes, it was adoration. When he smiled at a stranger, it was worship. When he forgave himself for not knowing sooner, it was salvation, right? What is that? That's that reminder, bro. If you feel far from God, open your damn eyes. You're surrounded by God now. You're surrounded by God. The fullness, the wholeness of God is in your mom in front of you. It's within you right now. It's in the water that pours out the sink when you're washing your dishes. When you're washing the toilet, the fullness of God is in every moment. You are never, never, never away from God. Never. Okay? He wrote in his journal that night, I no longer seek to rise above my humanity. I have discovered divinity within it. I no longer search for the kingdom. I breathe as it. I am not a man who found God. I am God who remembered himself as this man. He closed the journal and whispered one last sentence into the dark. Be still and know that I am. And for the first time in his life, the stillness answered not as something outside of him, but as him. All right. Do I want to read this second part? Yeah, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Got about 3, 4, 5, about 5 more paragraphs, right? The morning after the awakening felt deceptively ordinary. Sunlight slanted through the curtains. Coffee hissed in the pot. Traffic murmured outside. Yet something fundamental had shifted. The gentleman stood at the window and felt the world looking back. Not as an observer watching objects, but as the ocean recognizing its own waves. Every face on the street, every gust of wind, even the smallest glimmer of dust in the light, all of it shimmered with the same silent awareness that now breathed through him. At first, this new scene was overwhelming. He'd walk through the city and feel both infinite and fragile, as if he could dissolve into the crowd at any moment. He saw a beggar and wept because he recognized his own forgotten humility, staring back. He saw a child laughing and realized it was the same laughter that once echoed through his own soul before fear built walls around it. Everything was himself, wearing different costumes of experience. There was no outside anymore, only the divine playing hide and seek through human form. Still, the mind wasn't ready to give up its crown. It whispered doubts, right? We have this waking up of, oh, I'm God. Okay, it should be easy now, right? But no, the ego's still there. The mind still whispers doubts, right? What does it say? You're losing it. You're losing it, brother. You can't live like this forever. And he listened for a time, tight-roping between two realities. The remembered oneness and the lingering habit of separation. Old reflexes clawed their way back. Pride, jealousy, fear of being misunderstood. Yet now, every fall felt transparent. He could see the illusion even as he stumbled through it. Suffering no longer condemned him, it simply revealed him. That is it. There is a gem right there. Okay, there's the gem right there. It's the waking up does not mean that it doesn't eliminate the human experience. But now every moment becomes this divine lesson. You're simply walking into yourself. And let's make this practical, right? Let's say that you are doing work. Let's say you're doing work for your business, okay? And you're trying to make a deal. Mm-hmm. And before you pitch the deal, you feel this nervousness, this tension. I'm not ready, right? This is moving too fast. I don't know if I can do this. And instead of trying to make yourself feel better about the situation, what do? You simply remind yourself of the truth. Whether I receive it or not, I am still the person I desire to be right now. So the emotion, the fear, the doubt, these things are just illusions. Now, identifying them as illusions, does it mean they're naturally just going to fade away immediately? Maybe, maybe not. But you remind yourself that I am still it without conditions, right? The conditions don't make me. I am not prosperity if this goes well. I'm not prosperity if I feel good about it. I'm not magnetic if I feel magnetic. I'm just magnetic because I am that I am. And so now the tasks that I do simply become about me executing to the best of my ability. I simply do the tasks to do them, right? I don't do the task, do the pitch and link my prosperity to it. I am divinely provided for. I am prosperity. I'm the wellspring of love without conditions. Whether I was here or not, whether they say yes or not, whether you see it or not, I am that I am no matter what. So now I remove conditions in the moment, right? Anything that pops up in my mind that, oh, condition, right? Yeah, you say your prosperity, but what if this doesn't go right? Well, if it doesn't go well, I'm still prosperity. But it must go well because I am prosperity no matter how it goes, whether I get it or not, whether I'm nervous or not. So now the task, what does the task become about? Just being, right? I don't have an ulterior motive. I must prove to myself that I am prosperity in order to get this. Let me give a more practical example because a lot of y'all are specific person crazy, SP crazy, right? You decide you want this beautiful person, right? And so now you go up to speak to them. Let's say y'all haven't spoke for a while. You go up to speak with them and they brush you off a little bit. Let's say before you even go up there, you have this hesitation. I'm a little nervous. Right? I don't feel as magnetic right now. It's been a while. All of those things that show up in your mind that imply that you are not who you desire to be, those are conditions. But you are love without conditions. You are just love. I am love. Right? So now what is it about? It's about me being aware and moving through the moment, moving through life. And let's say, okay, this fear of being rejected comes up. Well, I am still love, even with this fear of rejection. So this fear of rejection now has no power. Instead of the fear of rejection having the power, and I'm saying because I have this, I am not. And now I have to force that feeling to go away. Right? Now I simply take the power back from it and I say, no, I am love regardless, no matter what. Even with this fear, I am love. Even if you reject me, I am love. Let's go a little bit deeper. This is how unconditional it has to be. Even if you say no, it's always yes. Even if you say no, I always have what I want. The situation might not unfold right now, but it doesn't have to look a certain way because I'm it unconditionally. I am the truth. Reality is just, this is the experience, right? So the moment that I have a desire, this is the beginning. And then the acceptance is the end, right? This is why God is the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. It doesn't say God is the Alpha, the Omega in the middle, right? The Alpha and the Omega. What is the middle? The experience. Now, I'm not saying God isn't there, but I'm saying that these two things are highlighted for a very important reason. Why? It's so that you remember, because you are the walking expression of God. You are the beginning and the end. The middle is just the middle. It's just the experience. It's just the unfolding, right? Some of you might say, well, I have this physical pain. Well, see yourself as healthy and well. Know that you are the beginning. The desire is the beginning. The acceptance of the end state is the end. The rest, the middle is just the experience, the unfolding. See through that illusion. Allow it to be what it is. Whether in this moment I'm rejected or accepted, that's just the unfolding. That's the middle, accepted to be what it is. But you remain who you are. You are the truth. I am the truth. This is what Jesus was saying, the conscious way. Right? He wasn't talking about he was the exclusionary, the exclusive ticket, VIP ticket to heaven. You know what I'm saying? This is the conscious way. I am the truth. I am the way. I am the truth. Right? This is how you get to the Father. This is how you get to reality, the Father, all that there is, the fabric of reality. Right? It's to decide who you are. Cool. All right. Back to the reading. All right. So he's going through this crisis, right? He's coming to this awakening. He was trying to force himself to wake up. Finally, he surrendered into the waking up. He stopped trying to fight his emotions, fight his feelings, fight his thoughts, and just began to be, to exist. But those doubts are still creeping up, right? So how does he handle it? So still the mind wasn't ready to give up its crown. It whispered doubts, right? You're losing it. You can't live like this forever, right? I remember when I was first coming into this journey, and there were days that I would just feel good for no reason, feel great. And in the back of my mind, I was like, shit, you better throttle this down. You better slow down with this feeling good, because it might lead you to you feeling bad later on. And then you'll be out of alignment, right? Just creating this scenario, creating this battlefield in my mind, right? Just making shit more difficult than it had to be. Instead of just enjoying the good days, enjoying the bad days, and knowing I'm still perfect throughout it. Be still. Cease striving. When I catch myself trying to feel better for the sake of vibration, hold up. Stop. Be still. Cease striving right there, and just know that whatever you are, wherever you are right now, you are God. One of the meditations I used to do, right? One of the exercises I used to do in the mornings is I would play with this concept. Meaning I would sit around, didn't have to have my eyes closed, could have my eyes open. I would just sit down, right? And I would simply decide, yes, I am that I am. I am God. I am prosperity. I am love. I am unconditionally all these things. However I was feeling right now, the goal was not to make myself feel better. It was simply to sit in the acceptance of who I was. I'm perfect right now. Now, a thought comes up that implies you're not perfect. Boy, you're crazy. Look at you sitting right here. Even behind that thought, even before that thought, I am perfect. Then the doubt comes up. And then sometimes I would try to relax, but my body, it didn't feel like it wanted to relax, right? But it was still the reminder, like, no, I'm still perfect. Even when I can't relax, no, I'm still love. I'm still prosperity. Why did I do this? I didn't do this to reprogram or rewire anything. I simply did this to what? To make sure that I was prepared for the goddamn day. To accept the truth of who I was. And now we're here. Magically. Life gets better. All right? So here we go. The mind wasn't ready to give up its crown. It whispered doubts. You're losing it. You can't live like this forever. And he listened for a time, tight roping between two realities. The remembered oneness and the lingering habit of separation. Old reflexes clawed their way back. Pride, jealousy, fear of being misunderstood. Yet now every fall felt transparent. He could see the illusion even as he stumbled through it. Suffering no longer condemned him. It revealed him. The moment that you are aware enough to, I'm walking through life, and now I notice that feeling rising up that implies I'm not who I desire to be, and I see it for what it is. It's just an illusion. I still am. I don't have to fight off the feeling. The feeling just is, but I am. The feeling just is, but I am. Right? One afternoon, sitting at a cafe, he overheard two strangers arguing about politics. Normally, he would have picked a side. But now he saw two facets of the same consciousness debating its own reflection. The anger, the passion, the righteousness, right? All sacred movements within the same eternal dance. He realized unity did not erase difference. It sanctified it. The one expressed itself through contrast. What he once called division was simply the infinite exploring the edges of its own imagination. The edges of its own imagination. As weeks passed, he noticed the small miracles. When he stopped resisting, life began to mirror his inner harmony. People were kinder, not because they changed, but because his perception had. The outer world softened as the inner world surrendered. Every encounter became a form of prayer, every conversation a chance for God to speak to himself. Even moments of loneliness carried a holy ache, a reminder that the beloved hides within absence as much as presence, right? Just really starting to come into that knowing, shit, everything is God. Everything is God. Let me turn the Wi-Fi off, bro. Let me turn the Wi-Fi off. Hopefully that helps. All right. So one night he returned to the same window where months ago he had begged for a sign. The street was quiet. Moonlight painted everything in silver stillness. He whispered, "So this is it. You and I were never two." The wind brushed his face like a nod from the infinite. No choir, no vision, just the simple pulse of being, and that was enough. He finally understood enlightenment was not an escape from the world, but the courage to see the world as God's reflection and remain in awe of it. He smiled not as a man who found answers, but as awareness itself, content to live the question. Just content to live the question. Just content to be in awe of life, to experience reality. And as he turned away from the window, the city exhaled, the stars hummed their silent hymn, and existence for one brief eternal moment recognized itself through his eyes. Right? I am that I am, no matter what. All right. Cool. So let's get into the meat and potatoes. Let's actually get into the discussion. All right. So the first part of this is called the breath or the whisper beneath all emotion. So we're going to talk about Christ consciousness. Okay. The whisper beneath all emotion. There is a presence that breathes through us, a stillness beneath every sound, a silence that existed before creation began. Right. Because God's been God before God had a name. Before we had language to crown God anything, God just has been. God is, right? The mystics called it the ground of being. Okay, the ground of being, the invisible thread that moves the stars and whispers through the trees. So let's talk about the ground of being. Let's talk about the ground of being. So what this is, it is the silent awareness beneath every thought. The silent awareness beneath every thought. Okay, the stillness that holds the rise and fall of every emotion, right? It's the isness, the ground of being, the isness, right? So before the name, before the story, before even the idea of I, there was this pure, unmoving essence, the eternal witness that watches worlds form and dissolve. It is not bound, right? Because when we think of this God, this spirit, right? From a human perspective, we want to put labels on it, right? We want to say God is this being, this judgmental being in the sky, right? We give it human qualities of jealousy. God just is, all right? So God is not bound. This spirit is not bound by belief. It's not bound by belief. It's not bound by culture, by gender, right? By sexual preference. It's not bound by creed. It existed before language, before light, before separation. If you remember, there's a beautiful quote in scripture, right, where Jesus is speaking. He says, "Before Abraham was, I am." Profound statement, right? Because Abraham metaphysically, we've talked about this, Abraham metaphysically represents the father of identity. Okay? So if you think about scripture in a very metaphysical sense, okay, what Abraham represents is identity. Abraham was given this task. You are going to, have the Israelites. Your name's going to be Israel. Right? You're going to have these Israelites. Your descendants are going to be as numerous as the stars. He was the beginning of separation, the chosen and the unchosen. God's people and the others. Right? Which in itself is a whole nother metaphysical lesson. But what if Abraham represents identity? What Jesus is saying when he said, "Before Abraham was, I am," is shit. Before you had an identity, you just were. Okay? Before you had an identity, you just were. Before the world told you were anything, before you decided you were anything, you just are. You just are. You just are. All right? Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. So, what you mean by that, brother? What you mean by that? I don't want to assume what you mean by that statement. But it caught my attention. You can join if you want. We can talk about it. How old are you, brother? How old are you, my brother? Let me tell you something. Let's talk about this, all right? I think this is a message for everybody, all right? The reason why I'm so passionate about this subject, okay? The reason why I'm so passionate about it, and let's go a little bit further back. The reason why a lot of you get into this reality creation space or even go down the manifestation, the metaphysical path, the spiritual journey, hell, even the religious path. I don't know what you believe in, right? The reason why a lot of us go down these paths is because we do feel alone, right? Let's say that you were trying to get this specific person. All right, let's say you were trying to get this specific person and nothing was working out. You tried your hardest. You were trying your hardest and you were trying to figure out how to make it work. And then you stumbled across some manifesting concept, trying to get them back, and you realize that it's much bigger than that. There are a lot of times when you get pushed down this spiritual journey where you might feel alone, right? You might feel alone, right? You might feel like, I don't know who's listening. Like nobody can help. Like I'm trying to reach for help out here. Okay. But let me tell you the absolute truth about this. The absolute truth is that you've never been alone on this journey. Right? You've never been alone. I'm trying to frame how to say this in the best way, man. Appreciate you. Guys, all of this stuff, look, it's bigger than anything out there, right? It's bigger than people coming into your life. It's bigger than that person that you want this romantic relationship from. It's bigger than the money you want. Hell, it's bigger than getting the money to pay your rent. It's bigger than that. It's about understanding that this illusion, although it feels real, there is something that is much realer. And there is something that's much realer that you can tap into, and it will never let you down. It will never let you down. But you have to put some faith in it, and you have to look for it, right? We can show, so many people can show you the way. They can show you success stories. They can say, this is the path to walk, do it. But you have to walk through that door. Right? Yeah, you have to walk through that door, man. Matter of fact, I'm gonna hit you up after this live. We're gonna have a talk. I'm gonna hit you up after this live because I don't want to say too much while I'm streaming. But I'm gonna hit you up after this live. We can talk through that. All right. So let's talk about this. All right. So when we get back to to the ground of being, what we were talking about before. All right. So there's this presence, right? This pure spirit. And this pure spirit just is. It's awareness. Doesn't have a name, none of that, right? Doesn't agree to a gender or to a race or to a creed or to a specific culture, right? God cannot be fenced in by one historical figure, by one culture, by one movement, by one book, right? This is all that there is, expressed through so many different cultures, so many different tongues, all right? So this is what the mystics called God before God had a name or a face. It is the space in which existence happens, the infinite canvas upon which all creation dances. When you remember this ground of being, the illusion of the vision fades. You realize that there is no higher or lower, no sacred or profane, only the same presence expressing itself in infinite forms. Right? Yeah. I'm bad, y'all. I'm off focus now. No, you good. Don't apologize, brother. Would I say I have Christian morals? Uh, Probably not. Probably not. No. I believe in the teachings of Jesus, yes. The teachings of Jesus, absolutely. But do I believe that Jesus came down here and died for our sins and is the only way to get to God? No, I think that's a fairy tale. I think that is a way to be sold control. Oh, I thought that was a genuine question, was it? Am I a follower of Jesus? No, I'm not a follower of Jesus. No. I believe that Jesus was a divine human being just like you. Right. And I believe he was showing us a conscious way of communicating with our God. Do I believe that do I pray to a Jesus? Absolutely not. Yeah. Jesus just came here to show us that we are God and look with it, right? His message was perverted. Even the way he died, right? Jesus didn't die. He didn't sign up to come down here and die and for our sin, right? Jesus was killed by the church because he was anti-church. He was against blood sacrifices. I want you to think about it like this, all right? These days, when you look out these days, right, and you would see like big pharma, and you would see how the food is poisoned, and the same people that create the food are the same people that are selling you medicine to get the sickness away. Back in the day, all right, so when Jesus was around, the Pharisees, Jesus was anti-Pharisee. Okay, the Pharisee was like the church, whatever you want to call it, the leaders, all right? What they would do is they would make all of these statutes, right? If you start looking at old law, there were like 600 laws that people had to follow. It's damn near impossible for you to follow all of these laws, right? And so now they would say, well, to get salvation, you have to give these blood sacrifices. Now, let's say out there, you didn't have money. So you could come to the actual church, and what could you do? The temple, and you could buy something to offer as a sacrifice. What does this sound like? What does that sound like? It sounds like the same shit that's happening today, right? You could bring your own livestock, and the temple could look at you and say, no, this is not going to cut it. You're going to have to buy something else. So they're holding your salvation at bay. One of the things Jesus was completely against was blood sacrifices. right? So much that he came into the temple, flipped tables, did all these things, right? And he was so anti-church. What did they say? They say, we're going to kill your ass. We gonna kill your ass. So he was killed, right? And then later on, decades later, all these stories were rewritten and Roman mythology was placed in it to where now, it's taught that he was born of a virgin, right? Well, some historians will go as far as to say Jesus had multiple brothers, right? Even in scriptures quoted that Jesus was the son of, let me not misquote the name, right? Let me not misquote the name. But all of these things that were wrapped around to make us believe that Jesus never said. Jesus never said. It was other people. It was Paul's work really that was saying that he was just this Messiah-like figure, right? But Jesus didn't say that. He never said that he was going to die for your sins. Even when he was talking about I am the way and no one gets to the Father except for me, that wasn't talking about death and praying to him. That was not talking about praying to him. That was talking about the conscious way of creating your own reality. That was it. Jesus came and he was preaching unity consciousness. Many will come after me that will do greater works than I, right? It's everybody else that was perverting the words and the teachings of him, right? If you simplified the Bible and you decided I'm only going to look at what was quoted from Jesus, even though the quote unquote quotes from Jesus, the quotes from Jesus, they're not really direct quotes, right? It would be like me saying, all right, everybody stop right now. Now repeat word for word what I've said 10 minutes ago. You would all be like, oh, well, shit, I don't know. Now imagine me coming back 20 years and saying, do that. Okay. People are like, well, it's the Holy Spirit moving through people and they got... Shit, the Holy Spirit can move through me now and I can write something on a fucking piece of paper and show it to you. You don't take that as law, do you? Right? So while a lot of these things, I love scripture, right? I quote it all the time. We go deep into scripture. Am I gonna read it like an absolute text of history? I would be crazy to do that. If I really just kept going, probably get a little offensive. I honestly don't think that modern Christianity is for the logical mind. I don't think that I don't think it doesn't stand up to logic. Like when you start questioning it's like a fool's religion. I think most people who are true Christians have not truly read the Bible. They haven't asked any questions. They just believe whatever the priest or the preacher or the pastor tells them. That is it. Yeah. I love the Quran. I mean, I've read a lot of religious texts, but I've read the Bible in the most depth. Honestly, I think most Christians just go around condemning people to hell all the time. It's kind of like they're bad. That's how they get in their bag. It's, heresy. You're going to go to hell. It's like, that's the classic argument. I mean, throw out, you're going to go to hell. Yeah, we can do something. We can do that. We can definitely do that. So, how did I learn? Honestly, the more that you know yourself, right, then the more you open yourself up to deeper levels of understanding, the more that scripture is going to meet you, right? Don't force it, right? Allow these things to show up within you, right? You're not in a race for this. You have a lifetime, right? And one thing that kind of sets us behind is when we're thinking and believing that, oh, I have to understand some information. I have to get this. I have to feel this way for me to actually get the things that I want. That's going to set you behind, right? Really, if we could, just dummy down manifestation, we could say, all right, cool. If you want to get the life of your dreams, go back to the time before you knew anything about manifestation. Go back to that day, right? I don't want you to think of vibration, frequency, none of that. The only thing that you need to do is live your life and know that everything's going to work out for you. And all of your desires will be added to you. That's it. That's all you have to know. And then simply just live as if you knew it was all going to work out. And it would. Right? Yeah, and it would. Right? It's the core teachings. And even the question I saw earlier, do I believe that God gives us everything? Absolutely. I mean, even if you read scripture, you don't even have to find a metaphysical way to read scripture to see that, right? It tells you straight up, whatsoever you ask will be given to you. It doesn't say some things, right? It doesn't say some things. And then how can it be so simple? What about doubts? Okay, I want you to, let's really break this down. Your doubts have never stopped you from getting anything. Only your belief in the doubt, right? Feelings don't create. It's only your belief in the feeling, right? So let me give you an example. If right now somebody told you, you got to feel good, you got to feel prosperity, you got to be prosperity to receive the prosperity. You said, okay, cool. And then when you felt good, it wasn't that the prosperity was coming. When you felt good, you decided to say, oh, because I feel good, that must mean the money's coming. And then when you felt bad, it's not that when you felt bad, everything stopped. You just decided to say what? Because I feel bad, it's not coming. The feelings were never creating. You simply made an identity out of the feelings. The doubt didn't stop anything. It was your belief. It was when you doubted, you said, oh shit, because I'm doubting, I can't get it. Doubt is part of humanity. That is a normal part of your humanity. But you don't have to build an identity on a feeling. It's going to change anyway, right? Don't build an identity on feelings. They're not solid enough, right? They're not solid enough to build an identity on. You build an identity on simply I am. You're like who you decide that you are. Right? You wouldn't go pay $1 million for a house on a beach made of sticks, cemented together with mud in rain season. And every time it falls down, you got to pay $100,000 for them to rebuild it. That's what you're doing every time that you build an identity on emotions. It makes no sense. It absolutely makes no sense. Okay. So the doubt doesn't create anything. It's the story that you tell about doubt. You say, okay, cool. Well, I have doubt. You could just as easily say, yeah, but I am that I am no matter what. I am perfect no matter what. Okay. I am perfect no matter what. Talk about views on prosperity and frugality. Like having a budget can still be prosperity. Man, absolutely having a budget can still be prosperity. Like how do you define prosperity? Some people define prosperity so I can just spend whatever without looking at it. Some people define prosperity as what? I'm responsible with this money that I have and more shows up for me. Prosperity is, if I ask 100 different people what prosperity is, I'm going to get 100 different answers. All of these different, all of you, we all have a different definition of our mind of what prosperity is. Which one is right? Which one is wrong? Well, all of them are right. But are you going to give yourself permission to accept the prosperity that you are? Right? The only person that says that quote unquote frugality is wrong is us. It's me. Saying, well, because I have a budget, I'm not prosperity. Says who? Nobody else is whispering that in my head, just me. Who says I can't have a budget and be prosperity? Who says that responsibility cannot equal prosperity to me in my life? Nobody says that except for me. Right? You get to decide. You're the author of this story. You're the author of the story. Now, if it doesn't make sense, because in your mind you're like, that's a contradiction, then don't accept that story as true. But if you want to be someone who always has enough, and you still are like, okay, well, I just enjoyed, it gives me a sense of responsibility to be quote unquote frugal and be, how I coin it, responsible with my money. Do that. That's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. Okay? And then how do I pray? With every moment I'm in prayer, right? The divine realization is that there's nothing to pray to. There's nothing out there to pray to. It's all God. This conversation we're having is a prayer. The way that I stay present with you, knowing that you are all the fullness of God, is the way that I honor God and worship God. The way that I am grateful that I have this water is me appreciating the gifts of God. The way that I cherish this moment is me being grateful to God. It's all prayer. What isn't prayer? What isn't honoring God? Making love to a beautiful woman is honoring God. It's all God. There is nothing outside of God. There is nothing outside of God. God is the all. God is the all, right? When I believe that I have to pray to a God, I'm implying separation or distance, and there is none. Right? There absolutely is none. Now, what is manifesting to me? Manifesting is me being in the moment, knowing that I am everything I desire to be right now, no matter what. That's all manifesting is to me. It's remembrance. I walk through life and I remember I am already that which I desire to be without conditions. Boom. It's done. And now what do? I enjoy my life. I'm being, right? I do nothing with conditions. When I work, it's because this feels like the next logical step. This should be the next logical step. I want to scale up my business. Cool. I want to study the market. Cool. I want to trade. Cool. I want to write. Cool. I want to read. Cool. I don't do these things to get anything. I do those things simply because they challenge me and I enjoy them and they sharpen me. And I become better at those skills by doing them. But I am already prosperity. And I would receive prosperity. Money can literally show up in my mailbox any fucking day for no reason. I don't need to do anything. The money shows up. But why do I do things? Because I enjoy working. I enjoy doing that. I enjoy moving. I enjoy learning. I enjoy reading. I enjoy all of that. Okay? And then, I meditate for sure. Speak on your process. I'm on day 4, tough but enjoying that. So these days I don't do many intention meditations. I used to do meditations to try to manifest things, visualize things. Don't do that anymore. Most of my meditations are simply me in existence, right? Just relaxing into the moment, knowing that I am no matter what. Whatever feeling comes up, I am no matter what. Whatever thought, I am no matter what. It is simply me allowing the moment to be whatever it is, which translates to my entire life. I would say the core thing, my core focus, it's not even a focus, right? Acceptance of now, exactly. My core state of being, point of existence is, it is what it is. Reality will take care of itself. Reality is perfect. Reality is God. God can take care of itself, and God originates within me and flows out of me. And I know that I am the perfection of God. Therefore, what is there to worry about? Even if it looks like shit, it's not. It's the perfect unfolding. Even if it looks great, that's cool. It still can get better. It just is what it is. It just is what it is. And how do you keep the mind conditionless? You remember who you are. You remember who you are. Constantly. It's so think of remembering as okay. I don't want you to be hard on yourself, so I'm gonna take this part slow. Because I do not want you to be hard on yourself with this. Because this is an important part of this journey, all right? There is an absolute perfection and holiness in your perception of separation. Okay? Meaning, this is how I always put it. Without the illusion of separation, if right now you just dissolved into oneness and there was no difference between you and the wall and the floor and that woman you liked and the bird and the trees, you would lose your mind. Your mind would dissolve into nothingness, into the isness of God. Okay? But now, because you have the perception of separation, there are things that you could not experience without it. How would you experience the love, the taste of a beautiful woman without the illusion of separation? How would you enjoy the spending of money? The receiving of the prosperity that you are without the illusion of separation. So this illusion of separation is a beautiful thing. What is it? It is God recognizing itself as God. It is God viewing God as God. It is God becoming aware of itself. So you'll constantly forget. And what is the forgetting? The forgetting is the ability, it's allowing you to remember. It's allowing you to experience. So even the forgetting is holy. The forgetting allows you to experience yourself. And then you wake up into the remembrance. This is all me. I'm perfect. Oh, it is what it is. Oh, it's all unfolding. So it's this divine dance of God forgetting itself just to experience the sweetness, the beauty of remember itself over and over and over and over and over again for eternity. That is the dance. Okay, so we talk about killing the ego, right? We talk about killing the ego, guys. You wouldn't have a human experience without it. You can't exist without it, right? The ego is a holy part of you. I want you to truly, the ego is a holy part of you. Now, you don't want to identify with it and sit there and identify with it all the time, but it allows you to have this perception of separation, which allows you to enjoy and cherish and savor the love that you are. Without that illusion, the embrace of your lover would not feel as good. Wait, what? Would not feel as good. But you can't, yeah. My bad, I wasn't responding. That comment was crazy. That comment was crazy. I know y'all know what did nobody else see that comment, or am I tripping? Am I just tripping? But anyways, it's that illusion of separation, right? So you have that illusion of separation to experience life. to experience life. Yeah, all their intrusive all of their intrusive thoughts are winning tonight. But they've been winning for like the last 3 nights. Been using my chat section like a diary. Dear diary, today I am feeling like eating it up. So give yourself grace on that forgetting and remembering journey. Right? Give yourself grace. Allow yourself to be. Right? Allow yourself to be. Type shit. What are we talking about, y'all? I must be going crazy. Man, I don't know what's going on. What's good? Man, I had a good lecture planned out. I just lost all my train of thought. My phone battery is, I don't know if I need to tell y'all that. I don't know if I need to tell y'all my phone battery. Plug it in, Alex. No. No. Let's just do questions, though. We can do questions, or if y'all want to join. Join up then. Join up then. Oh. Yeah, I finished already. Matter of fact, just so you don't feel cheated, I'll do the and I'm gonna do this tomorrow. This was actually a long cut of a very. This was a deeper discussion than usual. This was all on Christ consciousness. So instead of me just jumping back in the middle, let's just do questions. What's up? What's up?
Hey,
How you doing today?
can you hear me?
I hear you perfectly.
Okay. Well, I came across one of your videos. I can't even like articulate half of the stuff you said because it's probably deeper than what I can understand. But I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to understand it. But
Yeah.
it was the one about separation and you're saying something about God giving you the desires of your heart, but the desires are. I forgot what you said. I need you to run it back to me.
Damn, that's a great question. I don't know what I said either. God give you the
You said
desires of
something
your heart.
about God give you the desires of your heart, but the desires of your heart. It was just profound what you said, and I can't even articulate
All right,
or
cool.
like I'm still trying to process what was said.
Gotcha. Are you interested more so in what desires mean?
No, yeah, that part right there stuck out to me because that's what I'm trying to process and understand that God does give us the desires of our hearts, but it was just something that you said. I can't even really remember it right now.
So outside of specifically what I said, is there a specific thing that you want it cleared up? Maybe that'll help me remember what you're talking about.
Okay, well, it was like the separation video, and you were saying like you prayed, and look for angel numbers, breadcrumbs, and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So I'm kind of going through a similar situation right now
with
where
a
I'm
person.
looking for signs if the person is going to come back to me.
I see.
So yeah, so but it was something that you said about God will give you the desires of your heart, but you have it was just I can't remember it right now, but
I
it
got
was
you.
so profound.
I
When
got
it
you.
was said, it brought like deeper revelation
I got you. I
into
got you.
how you know feeling like
Yeah. So basically, right now you're in a position where you have somebody that you want, and you're trying to figure out how to get them back. And I said something
But
about the
that's the thing though.
desires.
It's not. I'm not trying to figure out if I because it's not that. How can I say this?
Hmm.
It's not that I want them and that I'm trying to get them back. I'm trying to understand if me and this person have a deeper purpose. Like because I'm willing to let go of something that is not supposed to go with me, if that makes sense.
Yeah. But the
Into the
deeper,
divine.
well, the
Because I
deep.
think everything is divine.
I see. The deeper purpose is always going to be up to you, though. There is no deeper purpose for anybody that plays out in your life. We just,
You don't think so?
no, we just walk away
You don't
from,
think our life is already written?
no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. That would completely eradicate the case for free will.
But the Bible does say God already written our stories. He known us from the beginning and the end. But we are God. God is within us, right? So it's like, well, do we write our own story?
Yeah, that just means that all versions of reality are already created, right? That's what that meant. That God has already written your story means that you're not creating anything. You're simply choosing the lifeline or the timeline that you want to exist on. Because it also says, whatsoever you ask in the Father's name will be given to you. Whatever you ask will be given to you. So that declaration that creation is done, creation is complete, it's finished. Everything that you want is already there. That God already knows, right? Take no mind in thinking, what shall I eat or what shall I drink? Because your Father in heaven already knows you have need
But
for these
how
things.
do you go down that path? How do you know if you're going down the right path?
You get to choose. The right path is simply the path that you choose. Here's the thing, right? When we talk about higher purpose, when we sit in, let's say that right now you just got out of a relationship and you're sitting here and you are sad and you're thinking, why did this happen? and then you start doing some work and you start figuring things out and you meet somebody new a year later, 2 years later, and then you say, thank God I went through that because now it's allowed me to be here. Is it because that thing truly had a higher purpose, or is it simply that you have accepted a different perspective of who you are in this moment?
It could be a little bit of both.
Could be a little bit of both, but the greater determining factor is that you can only make the decision that something had a higher purpose from a perspective of being able to see that in this moment.
Oh,
So
yeah,
so
definitely.
yeah, so we
Everything serves a purpose.
yeah, everything serves a purpose when we have the perspective to see it, and that means that we get to choose the perspective to see everything. Right? Somebody could lose an arm. They could be in a fire. They could say it's a greater purpose. Why? Because they make a choice. They could also choose to take the role of a victim. We all have a choice to see a higher purpose or to see no purpose in everything. It's a choice. And that's with everything. So it's not whether or not there is a higher purpose in it. We just have the ability to choose it. But the more important thing is, from this point of power that I'm in right now, I could constantly look at the past and I could be trying to figure out, what did this mean? What was this for? And then I could be continuously stuck in that path, continuously identifying with something in the past, just trying to figure out some lesson. Or I could step into my power right now and I can choose what I want to actually move into. That's where my point of power is. My point of power is not in trying to figure it out. The past is just a thought, right? The future, these are thoughts. Who do I want to be right now? That's going to always be the most important question.
Okay, but it's referring back to that video as well. You said, like, once you stop thinking about that person, they came back.
Yeah.
But the thing is with that, is that because I'm choosing myself and they're coming back, or like, see, I don't know, that part right there I'm trying to understand.
I got you. It's not about not thinking about that person. It's not. It's about freeing myself from the illusion that love could ever be lost, right? So when I'm thinking from a human perspective, I'm thinking that, oh, I can lose this person, they can go away. They were the gatekeeper for me to experience love. But the truth is that I am the source. I am love, right?
No, I agree with that.
Cool. And so I just get to choose and remember. I get to remember first that I am love. And now I can choose whatever vessel I want to experience that love through. Right? And now it becomes a celebration of that love. It's not that I stop thinking about this person. It's that I stop thinking about them from lack. I stopped trying to do stuff to get them, and I remember that they could never be lost. I could never be left behind because I'm the source of the love. So it's going from living for someone else to remembering that I am the center. It's reclaiming my throne in the center of reality.
For them, do you think they should be thinking that same way as well?
Well, if I am, then they will. Because there's no separation between me and them. In your reality, so now we're going to get into a different subject.
In their reality.
Well, it doesn't...
In their reality, it's the same.
You wouldn't know their reality. You only know your reality.
Well, yeah, you're right. But what I'm saying is they should be thinking the same ways, right?
Yeah, they will be. Exactly.
They should be. They might not be, but they should be.
No, they are. There is no should or would. They just are, right? So if I take the mindset that this person loves me, that person loves me. That's it. There's no separation. If I take the perspective that, yeah, they love me, however, men ain't shit, so they might not love me, then they take the perspective of, yeah, I kind of love them, but I ain't shit, so I might not love you. Right? It's just a direct reflection of me. That's it. There's no they might do something else. Even your belief that they might do something else is just you giving them the power to do that. People can only act out the assumptions that you give them. Think of everyone as this empty vessel just carrying your assumption to the tiniest detail. Mm-hmm. So it does not. Go ahead.
You kind of breaking up. Hold on, I don't know if it's my connection.
I think it's yours this time. Yeah, I think it was yours this time. Usually it's mine. I think it was yours. But I hear you now.
Yeah, I think that, yeah. I don't know. You're giving me a new perspective to look at. But I was already, I feel like certain things come at a time where you're ready to receive it.
Yeah.
I feel like your video was like perfect for me because I've come to a place of acceptance with the situation, but I'm not there yet. Like how you speaking, I'm not fully there yet. I'm still trying to grasp what you are saying to me,
But you can be there, right? But you can be there. I don't want you to think that there's any kind of separation between me.
But I'm saying I'm still, I still have a lot more learning and going within myself to do.
No, you don't.
Get to that.
No, you don't. No, you don't. I don't want you to think that there's any kind of separation or any kind of work that you have to do to get to the life of your dreams. Right now, it's just a decision. You either get to make the choice that right now you are going to give yourself permission to experience the love of your life, or you're going to decide that there's still separation and work that you have to do, and there's still a path that you have to go down to become the person that can experience the life of your dreams. Both of them are choices.
But
Right.
I know love is within me.
Cool.
I know that 100%. But the second part that you said is becoming instead of knowing. That's where
No,
I feel like I still have a lot of work to do.
you don't. You don't. That's
Instead of just believing that I am who I am, like, and I do know that I am, but at the same time, I feel like a part of me feel like I do have work.
well, okay.
Who I am.
That's what I'm saying though, is when are you going to decide that you are that person? When are you going to decide that you deserve to have it right now? This is the process that's going to keep you on the hamster wheel. You're constantly going to be, oh, if I feel better about it, if I'm thinking better, if I am this person, there's no future though. You're just constantly putting your worthiness into some future that doesn't exist and saying maybe one day in some mysterious timeline, I will be it, instead of making the decision right now. There is no more knowing that you need to do. There's no more believing that you have to do. Like when we think that we have to believe more and be more, we're equating those things to feelings. Some fleeting feeling we think is in the future, but it's a choice. The difference between me saying I am prosperity right now and I am prosperity when I feel more like prosperity is a choice. If I've never had money, right? I've never experienced $1, right? The only thing that's going to get me to experience prosperity is for me to just decide that I am prosperity. Or remember that because I am God, there's no work to do. Because on one hand, you're saying that you are God and you realize that God is within you. Well, if God is within you, God is everything. God is all that there is. God is infinite prosperity, infinite love. All of those things that you seek are already within you. So you're saying you're all of this, and then you're saying that you have to go somewhere to find what's already there. See how you're creating this separation that does not exist. It's about you giving yourself permission to live the life of your dreams right now, to collapse that time. There is no separation. There's only the illusion of separation that you're creating right now.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense.
Yeah, you deserve it right now, right? You deserve the life of your dreams right now. Right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not next month.
But that's the thing, though, I don't know what I feel like maybe I have to uncondition myself.
But see, nope. No. You're arguing for your limitations. You're clinging to your limitations. You're fighting for your limitations. Like, oh no, maybe I have to reprogram and do all these things. There is nothing that you could do right now, right? There's nothing that you could do or say or think or feel that will get you closer to God. There's nothing that you could think.
Okay, to somebody saying,
Huh?
somebody saying in the comments you are perfect now. I just can't resonate with being perfect when I know that okay, so let's use this as an example. You in a relationship with somebody and you say that you are loved, but you are not operating in a loving way. if that person comes to you and say, this hurt me, is you gonna say to that person, I'm perfect? Like, sit there and reflect and be like, okay, maybe, maybe I did do this to hurt you, and I'm, you know what I mean? Because like, we can't just be walking around saying, in real life situations, let's be for real now, like,
I am there for real.
yeah, you can from the highest level of I am that I am. I'm saying that when it comes down to being tested to know that you are who you are, and then this person is telling you something else because you done, you know, alter their reality of who they think they. I don't know. Like, how do you go about that when you love that person as well? You want to show love, but how do you show love if you think that you're perfect? Showing love is also knowing that, you know.
No, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know that, right? When you accept that you are perfect and you accept. No, I understand what you're saying, but I think that you're limiting yourself. I think you're still arguing for your limitations.
Okay, but no, I need a real answer from you right now. Say if you had a woman,
Okay. Okay.
and your lady is not where you are spiritually, where you are mentally and spiritually in this realm, the realm that you are operating from, and she comes to you and say, "Babe, that hurt my feelings." You going to say to her, "I'm perfect"?
No. No, I'm not gonna say that I'm perfect. Why would I say that?
Well, I'm trying to understand.
I know.
Operating and saying I'm perfect.
I know that I am perfect, so I know that we can work through whatever. I know that I'm perfect, so I know that we can have whatever. I know that I'm perfect, so I see through the illusion. Me accepting that I am perfect is not saying that everything out there begins to immediately look perfect. It's that I know that I am perfect, so I see through the illusion. I'm not getting caught up in that. That's a single moment on a canvas. Right? Our life is this beautiful painting, and you're getting zoomed into this one pixel instead of zooming out and seeing the fullness of the perfection, right? So even our arguments are what? Us exploring the contrast of God, right? The infiniteness, the vastness of God. You take a perspective of God, I take a perspective of God, because I know myself as love, and I choose to see you with devotion, with love. I know that we're going to get through it, and it will be fine. That's what I mean. It's not that I mean that I'm gonna walk around and if you feel insulted by something I do, I'm just gonna brush you off and say, girl, you better get on. I'm perfect. Now I'm not gonna do that. It's my knowing that I'm perfect and I'm loved means that I get to experience the fullness of that perfection in my life. It cuts through the illusion, it cuts through time. So my perfection right now keeps me from outsourcing my fulfillment and my happiness to the future. I no longer have to go to the future to receive it. I receive the fullness of that perfection right now. How is that perfection expressed? It's expressed in now I can simply be a little bit more present. Instead of me sitting here and thinking, oh, they're going to leave or whatever, I know that I'm perfect. Therefore, it must work out. Right? It's not that, oh, I'm perfect. Now all of a sudden I walk through and it's this statement of arrogance. Like when people first come into this space or people outside of this space here, you're saying, I am God, I am source. That's the first thing they think, oh no, this is arrogance. You're just walking around saying that you're God. No, this is humility. This is me saying there's no separation between me and God. There is God in me and everything. When I look at you with devotion and I see nothing but God. And our conversation is communion between God. Is God recognizing God. Even in the contrast is God recognizing God. Even in the argument, the disagreement, it's God recognizing God. It does not take away conflict. It simply allows me to navigate it better. See through it.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. I know it does. But that's not the important point. The important point is that you continue to say in the future, after I do something, then I'll be worthy, then I can get what I want. No. It's the core foundational piece of this is you being able to honor and accept your divinity and humanity at the same time. Meaning, your human part of you feels like, I'm just not worthy sometimes. I have work to do sometimes, right? I have to do this reprogramming or this unconditioning. All of this spiritual jargon that we've been learning, the subconscious reprogramming, the nervous system, and all of that spiritual jargon. No, but the divine self says, I've known you since before I created you in your mother's womb. You've been perfect since. It's the knowing that God could create nothing imperfect. So it's accepting that, okay, I am perfect no matter what. What if I don't feel perfect? I still am. What if I feel like I'm just not worthy today? I still am. What if my thoughts are racing? I still am perfect. I'm the perfection behind all of that. All of the thoughts and emotions are part of my human experience, and I can have those, but I am not those. They do not negate who I am, right? So, okay, since I'm perfect and I am loved, I deserve the relationship of my dreams. Unconditionally, because God is unconditional. If I have a thought that says I have to work harder, I have to reprogram something to get it, that's me putting conditions on the unconditional, right? So it's like, well, I say I'm loved, but now I need to reprogram myself. That is a condition. So now what is the remembrance that I'm doing? In this moment, I'm saying, no, I am loved unconditionally. Even if I feel like I have to reprogram, I don't, because I am it and I deserve it right now. So it's bringing our power back to this present moment instead of putting our power in some future that doesn't exist and then never experiencing what we want. That's the trap, right? Religion will tell us that we have to climb the ladder of righteousness. We have to repent and reprogram and work and confess and do all of these things. Then spirituality has their own spin and remix of it. Nervous system regulation, all these things.
I think it's duality, like repentance is something that's needed, because if you, I understand what you're saying, that we are who we are, right? So how do you work towards that? Like, if you have those vices,
those are two different
the
paths.
things that you need to work on, how do you work on it while saying,
Because you accept them as two different. You accept them as two different paths. You honor your divinity and your humanity. Yeah, I might have certain things that I quote unquote need to work on. It doesn't remove. It doesn't subtract or add from my perfection, right? Me getting better at certain things doesn't add to my perfection. Me not working on things does not remove from my perfection. My perfection simply is. God just is. God is unconditional. It is the human mind that begins to add conditions. So I work on those things because that's what I want to do. But in no way does that add or subtract from all that there is, because infinity cannot be added to or subtracted from. God is infinity. You can't add or subtract to it. You can't get better. You can't get closer to God, further from God. You can't get more holy. You can't climb a ladder. You can't do any of that. This is the human mind, the ego that wants to step in and think because they meditate more, they're holier. Because I meditate more, do more work, then I'm more deserving of things. Well, look out at the world and tell me, do the people that you believe deserve the most get the most? No. Scripture doesn't even say that. Scripture doesn't say he who believes in God the most will get it. It says, blessed is he who believes before he sees. Whatsoever you ask, believe that you have received it. That's it. It doesn't say the most righteous person will get it according to human standards. It's acceptance, right? So we do all of those things from a human perspective to have a better human experience, but it does not add or subtract from my worthiness, from my quote unquote alignment to have whatever I want.
okay, it makes sense.
Did I?
It's kind of breaking up. Yeah, it makes sense though.
Good.
It makes sense.
Good.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
hop off though. Thank you for this.
I
It
appreciate
was
you.
edifying.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep. What's up? What's up?
You don't in here. What's up, bro?
I'm chilling. How you doing?
I'm kind of nervous, my bad. Hey,
Nah,
first
no
of all, I
problem.
just want to say I appreciate you, bro. Like, I've only seen like 3 of your videos, man. I'm already feeling it. Like, it's incredible.
I appreciate you, bro. You know, we're all on this journey together. We're all on this journey
Yeah,
together, man.
absolutely, absolutely. So, something that I'm curious about is like, how do you kind of separate like your specific like desires kind of from what you have, you know? Because from what you're talking about, like, I am love, I am God, I am like prosperity, right?
Yeah.
But when I have such like specific desires and I don't like see them, I don't actually have them. How do you like mentally work around that?
Okay. Well, it sounds like you're trying to survive reality and wait for those things to show up, right? Is that what you're kind of trying to do?
I mean, I guess so, and it's also unfortunate because like I know there's so much good waiting for me, right? And I know that like, especially going back to that verse, like you ask and you shall receive, right?
Yeah.
But when I ask for something so specific and I don't receive it, it's like, so what am I doing wrong, you know?
Yeah. That's the natural, right? That's the ego. Okay. So here's the thing. All right, let's really break this down. It's about to be a good one. All right. So whenever you decide that you want something, when do you make the decision that you don't have it? Because right now you just kind of explain, well, I had this specific desire and then I don't have it. And now how do I navigate around that? So what makes you get into that knowing that you don't have it?
I think,
Well,
I think basically, I mean, I think the problem is I'm probably too focused on the moment. You know, I'm seeing that it's not right in front of me, you know?
yeah, I got you. And so how can we talk about what those things are? Do you mind
Oh,
sharing?
yeah, no problem, bro. I mean, listen, I don't know if you're in that whole relationship counseling type beat, but
Yeah.
like, that's kind of where it's been going.
Yeah.
Bro, there's this girl that I really fuck with, right? And, I don't know, bro. I don't know. It's tough, because, like, I don't think she wants me back, bro. I don't think she wants me back. I don't know how to navigate that, but I want this one specific girl so bad, you know?
How could she not want you back? Isn't that just an assumption that you're creating right now?
I mean, I guess, but it's also based on the evidence. You know, the evidence of the lack of responses, the lack of effort, etc.
Yeah, but all of that is still an assumption, right? You're basing your identity on what you see instead of letting what you see simply mold to match your identity, right? So we have a choice. We either get to idolize reality or idolize what we want. You get to grant yourself the permission to truly fall in love with what you want and let that materialize, or you get to focus on what reality is showing you. But here's the thing. If you're constantly looking at reality and reacting to it,
Yeah.
reality is always looking at you and reacting to you. So now if I'm looking out there and I'm saying, okay, I don't have it, this person doesn't want me, reality is looking at me, and because I'm looking out and affirming that, reality is saying, okay, that is who you are, so it's going to continue to give it to you, right? You're just in this constant loop.
Yeah.
The key is you are pure consciousness. Okay, you're pure awareness. You are God. This is kind of how I visualize it when I go through my day. All right. Right now, I want you to imagine just everywhere that you go, you have this beam of light, just God just animating you, right? And so when you walk into a room, that beam of light that is you, all of your assumptions, right? I am love. I am prosperity. Right? These women, all the women that I want, they adore me. When you walk into a room, all of that light spills out of you and it animates the room around you. It animates everything in this room. All right? Now, when you are in this moment, knowing who you are, right, and just enjoying the moment, you are in your throne of power. Okay? Now, when you step out of your throne and you're looking at reality and you're saying, it looks like it's not happening. It looks like shit's not going right. What you do is you completely leave your throne. And so the more that you abandon this present moment, this seat, and you go out there and you're trying to say you're judging things by appearance. You're saying, well, it looks like this. The evidence is showing me this. Now you're giving all of your power to reality. So you're making that reality stronger. You're solidifying it. When the only thing that you have to do is return to this moment and say, look, It does not matter what is going on out there. I'll handle it the best way that I can. That might mean being nervous. That might mean ignoring it. That might mean trying. That might mean taking a nap. It doesn't matter. Whatever I believe is the best. It doesn't matter what I do. What matters is who I remind myself that I am while I'm doing it. When I am the person that is always accepted, I could never be left behind because love can never leave me. From that place of power, now I allow everything out there to remold to me.
Interesting. Okay. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're basically saying like you kind of combine your desires like with the reality that you see, right?
Yeah.
You say that, am I kind of like on the right wavelength with that?
Combine your desires with the reality that you see. Yes. So everything that you see right now, you can look at it two ways. It's either this is a stepping stone to get to what I want. So of course she wants me. And right now, this reality is just a stepping stone to get there. Or I can say, well, I don't like this reality. This reality is something that it's just showing me evidence of what it's not. And now I can't trust my desires. You get to make the choice. It's either a bridge and it's perfectly unfolding through this to match who you are, or you get to make reality an idol. Remember, there's only one God, and that God is within you. Right? So when you start thinking that the situation is bigger than you, you're making a false idol of things out there. Right? So
I
what
have
do
a question for you. I have a question for you.
Absolutely.
How do you trust your own desires?
You realize, okay, most of the desires you don't think of most of your desires, right? You might be in a situation, all of a sudden you met this woman and all of a sudden you liked her. You didn't plan on liking her as much as you did. You just started to. So the desire didn't even come necessarily from you. Now, where'd you get the desire then? It's not to say that God desires specific people and God desires specific cars, but that desire is simply God moving around within you and reminding you that, yes, whatever you want to experience, you can have. And the desire is simply, when we really think of a desire metaphysically, what it is, it's the will of God to expand and experience more of itself. We just feel it as desire, but desire is life. It's the zest for life. It's the desire to expand and experience more of yourself, to experience more. That is to live. So just having the desire, this is a holy urge from God reminding you of what is possible. If you have a desire for it, it's possible. That's all it means. It's really not deeper than that.
Interesting. That makes sense. Dude, so when you say metaphysical, what does that mean exactly? I've never really heard that term before in this life.
I don't want to say spiritual. Dang, anybody got a good definition for metaphysical? Let me look it up. What I mean by it is just kind of mystical. It is the beyond, it's the greater reality.
Okay.
The greater reality, yeah.
That makes sense. Just like stuff that you can't quite see or explain, but it's like there.
Yeah, it's like the nature of, beyond the physical, the nature of reality, yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, shoot, bro. I think that's probably all I got, but I really appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Absolutely.
It's insightful.
Absolutely. But let me give you one more word. I don't think I brought it full circle yet. All right. So whenever the one thing for you to remember, bro, is that you already have what you want. When you get to that radical acceptance that it's not that I'm trying to get these things. It's not that I'm trying to affirm for them or visualize for them or trying to do anything. It's reminding yourself that you already have them because you are the center of reality. When you can walk around, when you can get good at knowing that you are the center of reality, then you just allow everything out there to be what it is. Right? Reality just is what it is. Let it handle itself. See through the veil. Enjoy the moment. Enjoy the movie. Just know that everything is working out for you. This is what it comes down to. It feels delusional at first, but it's just trusting that God within you. It is what it is. Because it's all God, and God can handle itself because God originates within you. So when you accept that and you just allow those things to be, and you give yourself permission to see this woman that you like with the devotion that you want, knowing that whatever version of her is in front of you right now, there's infinite versions of her. Infinite that don't want you, infinite that do want you. Just one that does want you. That's all you need to come forward, and it will. You just have to look at it with that devotion, right? When you see her, you see God. That's it.
That makes sense. I'm curious if you have any like specific tips for almost like getting into that mindset, because I guess it's something that I definitely understand, you know?
Yeah.
The idea that like I am love, I am prosperity, I am God, and everything else is as well. But I don't know. I found myself like stumbling a lot and getting caught up so much with what I do see, and that version of reality that's not quite resonating with what's actually true, you know?
Yeah, I would. I mean, I kind of hinted to it earlier on the stream, but it was one of the meditations that I did in the beginning of my journey was me sitting down with my desire and then just simply deciding, okay, right now with this desire, I have it no matter what. I'm the perfect match for it right now, no matter what. It's mine. And then whatever feeling came up, it was reminding myself, I don't have to fight this feeling. I don't have to feel better about it. I can feel doubt. I have it. Like I can feel anxiety. I have it. This thought can come up. Well, what if this happens? What if she's with this? Right? Because I was SP crazy too. I've had a few SPs in the day. Like it was if this thought comes up and I believe she's doing this, and it was me reminding myself, even if I go there, I'm not fighting it off. I'm just deciding, yeah, that seems like it would be impossible to come back from. But God makes a way out of no way. I would still have her. Even if that thing happened, I really didn't want to happen, I would still have her. So I stopped being scared of myself. I stopped being scared of the moment, thinking I had to feel better about a situation I didn't like. Thinking I had to think better thoughts about a situation I didn't like. It was just, okay, whatever comes up, whatever I feel, I accept. I just play with the acceptance right now. Remove conditions, right? I have to feel better about it. No, remove that condition. Reality has to look a certain way. No, whatever it is right now is perfect. It's playing with that acceptance, and then from that state, getting up and actually walking through life with it. It's a skill, and you get better at it over time. Right? I would say practice that, and practice that with every desire. Right? Okay, I am God. I just am it, no matter what. No matter what. Right? Now, when I do this. And I want to push you to even go further. When I do this, I don't do it for a singular thing. Now my view is, okay, because I am the source, because I am God, and a lot of people that I work with directly are starting to have this experience to where, because I know I'm the fulfillment of God, I'm love, I'm prosperity, I'm wealth, I'm abundance, I'm peace, I'm joy. I don't even have to think about my desires. Because I'm the fulfillment and I walk around in that knowing, my desire is enough. If I want something, if I just have a small want for something, I don't have to affirm for it. I don't have to think about it. It will manifest simply because I know that the desire is God moving through me, showing me what's possible. And I have a desire. That's it. The desire is the fulfillment. That's the prayer in itself. So when you start sitting, just in whatever moment that you are, knowing that it doesn't matter what I feel, it doesn't matter what my mind's thinking, it doesn't matter what I see. I am sitting in the middle of reality with all power and everything is working out for me, no matter what. Now that is when you become extremely powerful.
That makes sense. I mean, it's definitely something obviously I'm gonna have to like practice and exercise. It's interesting because like during the same relationship that I was talking about, it's kind of elongated, but there's this one point where I genuinely just felt like I wasn't ready for this girl. I wasn't like deserving, and I felt like I had to like do more work for myself. Before it was like even worth pursuing, and I like stepped away because of that. So
it's a natural part of the game, man. It's a natural part. That's something to wake up from, right? All of those things, like I'm sure that you figured out, those are part of the illusion, right? That's that illusion of separation, that human part of me that's simply longing to express itself in different ways and give me desires to improve in certain areas. All of that is fine, but I can't fall into the illusion and think that my worth is tied to the illusion.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. It's interesting we were talking about earlier about these like mistakes and stuff and these things that like
how you don't see yourself as perfect. It's not necessarily like it doesn't do you wrong. It's not working against you. It's not a negative. I don't know. It's kind of a whole new way of thinking. I don't know. I see all these things like quote unquote wrong with myself, and I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's yeah, exactly. It's not wrong. But and when you really start even thinking about it more from a human perspective, who is perfect? From a human perspective, when we think about it like that, who is worthy of anything? Right? We're all constantly striving to improve and get better and expand. Right? That's part of, and what that really comes down to is our infinite nature. All of us are these infinite beings forced to take on this single perspective, right? Because we think that we're in the body, we're not. The body is inside of us. We're all of the awareness of God. But because we're seeing through this vessel, we can only take one perspective of ourselves at a time. So if I can only take one perspective and I'm an infinite being, I'm always going to have this desire to expand, to be more, to improve, to experience different parts of myself. This is why even science will say, right, reality is only 0.0001% matter. That's another thing. We're only able to see that because that's all we can experience at one point in time.
Yeah.
Right? So that part of me is holy in itself. I'm constantly, longing to get better and improve. And I see things that are faults or flaws, but they're really not. It's just part of my human experience. So it's about reframing them. Yeah.
That makes sense. It makes sense. It's not necessarily has to work against you. You can use that as a positive.
100%. Absolutely.
It's a really cool way of thinking about it, man. I don't know. I'm very, very new to like all of this like really spiritual stuff. Like I was saying, like manifestation. I don't know anything about that.
Yeah.
Actually, that's another question I got for you. When you manifest things, when you want something specific, like the same video that the last girl was talking about, right? The way you were able to like let go and decide that like I am still loved regardless of this person reciprocates that or not, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Fuck, bro. I kind of forgot where I was going with that, low key.
I got you. It's not about letting go of the desire for them. It's about letting go of what it should look like on the way there.
Gotcha.
Right? That's part number one. When I talk about letting go, I'm talking about letting go of judging the journey, right? Judging that, because this looks like that, it means it's bad, right? Looking bad doesn't mean it's bad. Looking bad just means it looks bad. But that's it. But it's still perfect because it's all perfect. Now, the second part is when I think about the desire now, of course I want it. But now I have to get beyond the logical mind. The logical mind wants to put boundaries around my desire. It wants to say, okay, I have this woman if she's with me here. Now, what if she's with somebody else? Well, that's when I have to go beyond the logical mind and say, no, I'm still love. Not even I'm still love. I'm still experiencing love through her. She's still mine. It's beyond logic and it feels delusional. It seems delusional at first. But if they were yours, then they would be yours. And you could have that thought and say, no, they're still mine. Even though I thought of them experiencing something else. Right? So when we start going beyond the logical mind, that's what I mean. It's I'm still the person that has what I want, irrespective of conditions. Right? It's letting go of what I think it has to look like so it can actually manifest as what it should be.
That makes sense. I don't know. It does definitely feel a little delusional.
It is.
Until you go back to that idea, that idea of lack of condition, the idea that you are, I am that I am. Is that what you say?
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah, that I am, right? The conditions are what keeps us trapped, man. And conditions can end up manifesting dangerously in your life, right? Because let's say that I decide that I'm with somebody and I say I'm only with them if it looks like this. What I'm really saying is I'm only conditionally the person that's with them. And you can't be and not be. You either are or you are not. And if you are all of it. You're unconditionally are it. If you are not, then you're either conditionally are it, which means you're not, or you're unconditionally not it. So if I decide I'm only conditionally it, I'm really saying I am not. And so the thing that shows up in my life has to be the thing that confirms I am not. This is why in the spiritual sense, they'll be like, well, you attract what you fear. Well, it's because you make those things conditional. You're being double-minded about it. So they manifest as hot and cold behavior. It manifests as you getting the opposite of what you want because you don't stand firm in the identity and say, well, yeah, sure, I think that my mind would have went down this path for a day or a week, but I remind myself, no, I still am it. I'm it no matter what. I'm it no matter what it looks like.
Got you.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So yeah, so basically you gotta be all in, or it's all just gonna fall the fuck apart.
There we go. There we go. No, I mean, you didn't oversimplify it. Yeah, you got to be all in. Basically, be all in. Just yeah. No matter what means no matter what. It means even if it looks like it's not, it is.
Gotcha. Well, hell yeah, bro. Hell yeah. Shoot, I gotta go pick up my sister real quick. I can't lie. I'm gonna be a few minutes late. Genuinely, though, it's been a great conversation.
Oh yeah.
Very appreciated, bro.
Absolutely, bro. I appreciate the convo, bro. You have a good night, bro.
You too. Appreciate you.
Later. That was a good conversation. What's up?
So I wanted to get your thoughts on like timing.
Yeah.
Because I am a master manifester. I have gotten a lot of the things that I've manifested.
I know you have.
But a lot. I wanted a house with a swimming pool. I wanted a gardener. I wanted a nanny. Like
Yeah.
I wanted all of the things. But it took me so long to get it. And like I even manifested like the married to my husband. But by the time I got it, I didn't want it anymore. Like I was over him. And it's like I don't understand why everything comes so slowly. And I started to develop this theory that like instead of us being like conscious manifestors, that we're really just foreshadowing our future. Like the desire is a foreshadowing for like your destiny, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes perfect sense. But you've also created this whole identity and story around things taking long. I'm sure that at one point in time, something took a while. And then you started saying, I wonder why things take a long time. And then you started building a theory around it. And so now it's part of your identity. Like it's like you've already accepted that as the truth of your beingness, right? When it doesn't, like, okay, so what do you probably base your manifestation on those things physically showing up in your reality, right?
Yes.
Why not base the true manifestation is you have become the person, right?
But then that takes me to detachment because it's like when you really want it, I feel like when you're holding on to it and you're like, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire, you're not, you literally feel like you're lying to yourself. And that's such a hard hurdle to get over.
I love this. Is going to be a great conversation. All right. So, of course, it feels like you're lying to yourself. All right. So, right now, what is the difference between the 3D and you? Do you believe that the 3D is something separate, or do you believe the 3D is actually you?
I feel like it's both because, like,
Yeah, I know.
like, I went to school for biology, so, like, I'm a science nerd. And I know that technically you can't touch anything. Like, everything is just neurons.
Yeah. Okay.
Everything is just like your nerves processing the outside world. So technically, like your senses can only perceive. So I know that. But like on a 3D level, like it's hard for my brain to be like, yeah.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. All right. So right now you have this very scientific way of thinking, which is perfect. But let's go a little bit deeper, right? Because even the substance of all of those things, whether it's our neurons touching the atoms and there's field in between, all of that is animated by one substance, right? It's all the substance of God.
Okay.
Okay. And so the substance of God, when we talk about your reality, the substance of God originates within you.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So the substance of God originates within you, and then your reality becomes this extension of you. So right now, and where I'm going with this is it feels to me, it seems to me like you're someone that whenever you're affirming, okay, I'm a millionaire, it feels like a lie because you're looking at reality as the proof of it. Instead of you saying that when I affirm that I'm a millionaire, it's because I'm identifying as one. I'm declaring who I am. It's, well, I'm looking at reality and it's not showing me that. And reality has final say so on my identity. And so if I'm sitting here and I think reality is separate, it's this thing that I have to endure, of course it's going to take a long time. But when I see that reality is just an extension of me, when I say my affirmations, I'm saying, well, I am a millionaire. Reality doesn't matter what it's showing me. It's just a reflection of me. It's just an extension of me. But I'm the millionaire. I'm declaring who I am. And our reality begins to immediately reflect that with no change, because I no longer see separation. The more that I see myself and reality as two different things, I don't just see this is all God. God originates within me and it flows outside of me to everything. And I see that as something that I can touch. I see that as this whole different physical entity. I'm creating this space. And if it's all consciousness, because I'm perceiving this space between me and reality, now things are just going to take longer.
But I want to touch it.
I get it. I get that you want to touch it, but you can touch it. It's not about you not being able to touch it quickly, right? It's still just about your perception of separation between you and the physical reality. It's about you thinking that you're lying because you don't see it out there immediately. So instead of you declaring with your affirmations who you are, it's like I'm trying to declare what reality is.
I'm gonna try that. I think I'm gonna try to. I'm gonna visualize a little differently because, like, visualization has been like my main method, and so I'm really gonna try to like make myself one with my affirmations, and then I'll report back.
Well, okay, make yourself one with that. What does that mean?
To like, so the way that I like conceptualize everything so far is just saying like, okay, the same energy that's in me is the same energy of money. Because like when I started making more money, I understood that it's just like an energetic exchange. It's like, okay, I just have more energy that I can, like the fact that and stuff like that. It's energy that I'm not spending myself, but energy that I can circulate
Yeah.
to have it done. Like,
Yeah. Well,
so, like, do you see it that way?
Mm-mm.
Because it is like everything is just energy.
It is.
Like the fact that your TV turns on is energy. It's the same energy that's inside you.
Yeah, it is. But I don't know. I feel so much separation when you're talking about these things, right? So how do you increase the energy of God within you? Okay, so the energy of money, energy is God, right? Energy is God. How can you increase the amount of God within you, right? It's realizing that you are the absolute of God right now. There's nothing to raise up within yourself. It's simply the recognition that you're already all of it. Right? Like when you start making it like a process, of course you're gonna start hitting these upper limits that you feel like you have to break through with work. But there is no upper limit. The only upper limit that you have is the illusion that there's something that you have to get closer to. Here's the deeper question. Here's the deeper question.
Okay.
Right now, okay, if the fullness of God is within you, what is truly stopping you right now from accepting that you are the person in the life of your dreams right now, energetically, to the fullest?
Not much. much, really. Like it's not when you put it like that.
It's just you. It's a choice.
Yeah.
What's stopping you from making that choice?
I think it's just the ego, like the fact that I want the stacks of money in my hand. Like
Yeah, but you,
that
but
literally is just it.
for sure. But you can have the stacks of money in your hand. You can have them in your hand right now, right? But you have to give yourself permission to accept that you are already that person right now, without going through time, without reprogramming, without becoming one with anything, because you can't become one with source than you are right now. You're already the fullness of God. The energy that you see that's flowing out of you and you're experiencing as money, it's not something that you can increase or reduce. There's an illusion of a limit within you. But that illusion it simply needs to be removed. You simply need to decide there is no illusion. All the money that you want it's already you and more.
Okay. I'm gonna meditate on it, and I'm really gonna try to embody that energy.
For sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm excited to hear the success story.
Yes, I will report back.
For sure. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Later. Y'all are funny as hell. Yes, if you know you'll never get sick, you will never get sick. That is the exact mentality to have, right? It's the acceptance of the truth of who you are. Okay. I feel you. Shit, I want to touch the money. I want to smell the money right now. You know what I'm saying? I want to feel that car. I want to smell the new car. That new car smell. I know y'all love that new car smell. I love that new car smell. I want that shit right now. Right now. But are we also organic bodies? We are. The difference of perspective between masculine and feminine. What about it? I don't think any of that matters when it comes to reality creation. We can talk about it for sure if you have a direct question about it. Absolutely. But I don't think it has anything to do with masculine or with reality creation. Man, today's been a good day, y'all. So I had a good conversation with someone a couple of days ago that really opened my mind about, what was possible in my life. It's interesting how we believe that Islam is the truth religion. It's really interesting how we believe that we are doing so well, and then we can have one conversation with somebody and they can just highlight a blind spot and they can just open us up to receiving more, right? So this person did. But anyways, the last couple of days, typically I like to try to respond to as many comments as I can, even though I have a lot of time where I'm not really just scrolling. But today I sat down for an hour. It's so interesting. The comments were coming faster than I could refresh. I would refresh and be 5 comments, and I'll respond to them. And I'll refresh and be more. And so sometimes, my favorite comments to respond to are the trolling comments. It shouldn't be the favorite ones. But it is, because I feel like those sharpen me more, right? Because it allows me to highlight my perspective. It really allows me to kind of speak out my perspective. So one of the there were a bunch of funny comments, right? But I think one thing that we can get caught up in on this journey of us trying to create our own things, right? Creating our own life, creating our reality is sometimes I get out of touch with how I'm, I guess, helping people. I've talked about my perspective with even this content, right? It's if I were to experience a past version of myself or a version of myself in another lifetime, would my message help them? And so that's the mindset that I take when I do content or whatever the case may be, right? If I can help myself, right? If this allows me to, have a better life, then it's fine. It's perfect, right? So I put content out for that perspective. But it's beautiful to see not just kind of y'all reaching out to me and I'm able to help you, but reaching out to each other, right? Helping each other on this journey. Because especially with reality creation, right? It's not an A plus B equals C, right? Or A times B minus C equals X equation, right? Everyone has their own way of doing things, and you never know which perspective could help push you over, right? So I basically say that to say, whatever sparks you on this journey to get closer to God, whether you can't get closer to God, but whatever sparks you on this journey to remember who you are, to actually walk into the life of your dreams, you deserve it, right? You absolutely deserve it, okay? And don't outsource your success, all right? I appreciate some of the thank yous, guys, but nobody, you have to make the decision. This is such a personal journey, right? When you cross that boundary and you realize, like, dang, people have been telling me the same shit for 3 years, but I finally just decided to do this, and now all of a sudden everything that I want is showing up, right? You are the common denominator in this experience. Nobody deserves more credit than yourself. Give yourself your fucking flowers, right? Give yourself your flowers, right? Give yourself your flowers. Love y'all, love y'all, love y'all. When did I begin to realize his path? Yeah, for sure. This path, for sure. And yeah, I was initially religious, for sure. I was born in the Catholic Church. Spent a lot of time in the Catholic Church. That's why I'm still close to Scripture. But yeah, I started off in the Catholic Church. Yeah, especially once I started getting into mysticism, like Catholic, Christian mystics, studying the saints, things like that. It helped me a lot. It's so interesting how kind of modern religions, Christianity, Catholicism, all the thousands of different pacts of Christianity. It's interesting how they've strayed so far. It's just interesting how the path is led these days, right? It's as if, and I wrestled with this for a long time, right? The teachings of like the Old Testament versus the teachings of Jesus, and then the teachings of Paul. It's almost as if the teachings of Jesus are about like self-actualization and oneness. And then Paul leans more into institutionalizing it, right? Making it more ingrained into society. Something that could be indoctrinated. I don't know how to explain it. Well, I do know how to explain it. I know exactly how to explain it. Is that once you get into Paul's teachings, it's more so how to influence a people to follow a certain way. So I did notice things, I guess, from a younger age about it, but man, it's just very interesting how the more literal you look at scripture, the more confusing it could get. And there's so many holes. And it wasn't even written by people that were literal. If you think of ancient people, ancient civilizations, these are typically people that speak in metaphors and parables. Because that was just the nature of how history is passed down, right? You might have a village, and let's say they sit around and you tell the children a story. And then 5 years later, when the children are older, you say, you remember that story? This is what it really meant. And then when they get a little bit older and they go through a different situation, you say, and this is also what it meant. And then you get a little older and they say, this is also what it meant, right? So throughout history, our stories are the parables that we've used to pass down history, because this was a skill that you had to acquire to pass down oral history, was to be a good orator, right? To be a good speaker, to encapsulate messages within this story for preservation, right? To pass down literal history through stories would be quite challenging. It'd be very, very challenging. So we are only now or recently have gotten into a time where we pass things down through this literal history. And if you just speak about literal history, right? If you take things very literally, what you'll realize is that it's always up. If you take literal history, it's always up to human manipulation. If you tell the story long enough, it will be manipulated. Okay, it will be manipulated. What it do, what it do, what it do. Appreciate y'all. And yeah, I studied Carl Jung for a while. I don't want to answer what. I didn't even see the question. My bad. Try to call me out like that, huh? But yeah, I studied a little bit. But I don't even know what that is. I don't know what that means. But yeah, I studied Carl Jung. And then the blind stuff that stopped us and we're not aware of. There is no blind things. There is nothing. There is nothing outside of your awareness that is stopping you from getting what you want. Nothing at all. There's no dark forces. There's no evil devil. There's no Satan. There's no opposite power. There's no demons. There's no blockages. There's none of those things holding you back. The only thing that there is the illusion, the belief that there's something holding you back. That's it. Okay? That's it. It wasn't a blind spot like it wasn't a blind spot meaning there were blockages like I couldn't get what I want. It simply opened up my mind to what I could achieve. That's all. You just opened up my mind to what I could achieve. And dense energy, I don't know. I've never felt dense energy, right? It's like I've never felt dense energy. I mean, people talk about it, but that's just like anything. People talk about subconscious blocks and blockages in your body that you have to work through. And then all of a sudden the energy leaves and you can manifest things. But I mean, all of that comes down to your belief. Who's the one who decides that now things can come in? It's us, right? It's just another thing that we do to outsource our powers. What is the power? Where is the power? Is the power in the thing out there? Is it in some dense energy, or is it in your belief that there is a dense energy out there? when does that belief go away? When does that dense energy go away so you can get what you want? Well, it's when you accept that it's gone. Yeah. Just have to open ourselves up, man. It's that acceptance, right? And it's the same way that everything goes, right? Whether we talk about it being an energy blockage, whether we talk about it being a subconscious block, or whether we're saying, well, I just need to reprogram. I just haven't accepted that I'm God enough. I haven't accepted that I'm perfect enough, right? What do all of those things have in common? Choice. Choice. Right? They all come down to our choice. I get to make the decision.